Hey everyone, today we are taking a look at the Excalibur TwinStrike. The crossbow shoots 2 arrows. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment on what you think. Let's take a look.
Alright guys, it's Ian here with Legacy Archery and Freezer Bound Outdoors, and today we're taking a look at this just mean machine, the Excalibur TwinStrike. Now if you've heard of this crossbow, it's pretty wicked. If you haven't heard of it, you know, you can see that Excalibur has something pretty interesting going on here. You're used to seeing just a single recurve limb design, one string, nothing too crazy, right? Excalibur took all the consideration they could into this, and they made a crossbow, the only crossbow on the market that you can shoot 2 bolts at a time with. Now, mathematically, these bolts, if you want to squeeze both triggers, go for it, but it's not going to do you any good. It's not going to put 2 holes in the deer. Those bolts will collide at about, from what we had talked about 17 yards downrange. So they won't even make it probably to whatever you're shooting at. But if you miss, if something goes wrong with your first shot, anything, you have a backup shot. You know, it's not a one and done deal anymore. You have 2 slots for 2 arrows, and you can get those 2 shots out of it that you need. And it also makes it really good for sighting in too. You know, you don't want to have to pull it back every single time. Now you got, you know, pull it back twice, get your 2 shots, and heck, that might do it, you know, for your sighting. So yeah, we'll kind of go over this a little bit here. So this TwinStrike, it is coming in at a whopping speed of 360 foot a second. So pretty dang quick. Your overall weight of this crossbow is weighing in right at 7.5 pounds. I should figure out if that's with the nice Excalibur tight spot quiver or not. Pretty sure it's without the quiver. Now, for the absolutely wild part, the draw weight of this bow is 358 pounds. Holy smokes. I'll tell you what, that's why Excalibur gives you the really nice crank system with it. I can't remember the specific name of this crank system, but it just makes it a breeze for loading this bow. Because I can guarantee you one thing, you don't want to be pulling back 358 pounds every single time you got to shoot it. Overall length of this crossbow, still fairly compact, coming right in at 33 3/8 inches overall. Whenever you have the Excalibur TwinStrike cocked back, loaded, ready to go, your overall width, you're coming in right at 21 1/8 inches. Now, as you can see here at rest, not ready to fire or anything like that, you're coming in right at 25 1/4 inches, and that's pretty respectable considering there's, you know, quite a few bows out there that are even wider than that, you know, at the resting position. One thing that's also, you know, that I'm just kind of looking over here, if you look on the rail here, the Excalibur has laser etched in dash marks. So now what that does, that assures you that you're keeping the string the correct distance from your string stops here, and that, you know, it's not stretching or anything like that, because we all know with the Excaliburs, if your string starts to stretch and really eat into these string stops, you got to give it a couple twists to get it backed off a little bit, then you're good to go. So that's actually super nice. You don't have to break out the measuring tape or really get down and eyeball it if you think your string stretched at all. Just follow along with the hash marks and you're good. Yeah, like I said before about, you know, the quiver that comes with this bow, I mean, this tight spot quiver is super nice. You know, just easy on and off, fairly lightweight, really nice, you know, color match camo to the bow. And then once you want to put it back on, it just slides right back on, get it nice and even there, and then push the latch down and not going anywhere. So yeah, that is the Excalibur TwinStrike, and I think we're going to fire a couple shots out of this thing. Yeah, so for one thing that I did forget to point out is that Excalibur, actually on the TwinStrike 2, they give you a nice level back here. Make sure that if you're trying to make a, fairly steep downhill shot, well, not even downhill, just out of your tree stand even, or even if you are on the ground, you want to make sure that it is perfectly straight and you're not leaning one way or the next, because that could definitely lead to malfunction of the sort, and we don't want you getting hurt, out in the woods. That's not what it's about. So yeah, we'll kind of, go over the caulking procedure here to loading it. Now, what you want to do, and it'll say it right in the Excalibur manual, you want to load the bottom barrel first. So I just have this, stretched out right now, but I'll go ahead and take these hooks off. What's nice about the crank is that it automatically rewinds, and it gives you two nice hooks right here to get your crank mechanism hooks hooked onto. They won't go anywhere. So what you're going to do is that you are going to take both your hooks, run it through the groove in the back of the stock, and then get them hooked up on the bottom string here. If I can get that one hooked up. There we go. Alrighty. Then you take your crank handle and you're just sliding it in till it clips into place there. And yeah, you're all good. Then you can just, start cranking back. Now, since we're not on the range yet, I won't crank it full way back, but alright, so now we're going to crank this back. Always remember that these crossbows, the string won't latch back. If you have it on safety, it'll just kind of almost bounce, not necessarily bounce off, but it'll catch on the anti-dry fire. Then you're going to be wondering, oh my gosh, why isn't this going back? It's because the safety engages itself after you get this bow drawn back. So I have, the crank set up and everything. So now we're just going to, we're just going to draw it back. It's super easy with this crank as well. Alright, so we should be back now. Here's the click. So we are going to add a little bit of downward pressure, release it, and we have, boom, we have the bottom string back. Now, just for ease of use, I'm going to set the handle there for a second. We're going to come up to the top string now, the first shot. Get the crank handle slid back in, and you want to push the lever in the back. It says push down to cock. Then we're just going to crank the top back. And we're back. Gonna maybe release it. There we go. All right. Then, like I said, we're going to hook our two little hooks right there to the designated peg. Lock that back into place so it doesn't go anywhere. And we are going to immediately flip this onto safety. You want to be, that should be your number one rule. Always be safe. Keep it pointed in a safe direction. So now, loading this bad mamma jamma up, you're still going to go, you want a vein down, and you have to load it right through the front. Snaps back into place there. We should be all good. Then we're going to take our next one. Do the same thing after I tighten up this field tip. Alrighty. This one's a little easier since it's up top. Get that snap back into place. All right, and we are ready to fire. Line up on the bench. Pointed down range, we're gonna move the safe to fire, and we are going to squeeze the front trigger first. Kind of scared me a little bit, not gonna lie. All right, so your front trigger is your top arrow, so now we are going to squeeze the the back trigger for the bottom arrow. And we'll see how close we hit to our first shot. Oh my gosh, they're touching down in the target.
That sounds fast.
So yeah, we will, let's take a walk down to the target. I'm telling you, they're right there side by side.
And what's the price point on this bow?
So the price point on this bow we have them retailing for is $19.99. So just right at $2,000.
Okay. That's pretty spot on, huh?
That's
They're
pretty
touching.
spot on. Yeah. So you missed that first shot, don't worry. You have the second shot close behind, and it doesn't. And we had a couple questions about sighting in, because obviously one bolt is higher than the next. So what are you really going off of? Well, honestly, from that, it doesn't really matter because they're spot on right beside each other. So you can sight in, I'm gonna shoot the bottom bolt first, see what happens. I can almost promise you that they're going to be right there side by side every time. So that is the Excalibur TwinStrike.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a comment. And we got plenty more new stuff coming.